going to get a second chance in the game.
Thank you very much to Coach Albaugh for inviting us once again to speak for you at Chief Pigskin. And we hope we can give you some great feedback today. Excited to have you guys out at practice and ready to get rolling today. So today, I thought we'd be a little bit different than we usually are. And I wanted to give you some of the things that we do differently to practice. At the end of the day, the reality of the situation is we only have so many reps at practice. And so we have to be very efficient with the way that we do things and the way that we organize things. And so, in my opinion, one of the best things that we do in our football program is wristbands. Wristbands that help direct our show team, wristbands that help direct us from an offensive line perspective, and it really provides great clarity for the guys when we're trying to mimic the defensive tendencies that we're going to see. And so, as you see here in front of you, this is how everything starts from a wristband perspective. And so the first thing that we want to do to help organize ourselves is before the football season even begins, before training camp, is we want to create templates. And we're really going to create templates for 3 base fronts. We're going to create it for 4-down linemen, okay, over, under, even, 2-3 techniques, whatever the case may be. Create 4-down wristbands, Oki front wristbands, and stack wristbands. So that gives us an easy template to be able to pull from when we get into the season itself. And then we also want to do the same thing for coverage. So we're going to create a base outline of what it looks like to be in a cover 2 shell, cover 4, cover 3, and man. Once again, making it very easy for us as a coaching staff to be able to pull from that immediately when we get into the season and get to prepping our guys. And so the organization of them, helping to clarify where guys are going to line up, is that we separate everybody into field and boundary, as you see here. And so as you notice on your screen, you see that there's a field defensive end and a field defensive tackle in a 4-down setting, and then there's a boundary defensive tackle and a boundary defensive end. And if we keep scrolling down, you can see that everybody is assigned the same thing. The Sam linebacker is kind of our trade player, and so that's the guy we'll tell him where to align on the right or the left based on the formation that we're lined up in. And so we do this because it's a lot easier for us to be able to get people where they need to go. From a formational matchup perspective, switching things in field and boundary, than it is for us to be able to say right or left and have to always match things up formationally. And so once we have an awareness of the formation that we're going to utilize through a scripting perspective, then then it's a lot easier for us to adjust from a live scripting situation on a day-by-day basis. And so one of the unique aspects that makes the wristbands, in our opinion, so much better than filling out a card and color coding cards or creating different color coding systems to make sure that your guys are executing their job in the correct way, is you can be extremely specific with what you're asking guys to do. And so you'll notice that the alignment perspective, and I'll go into a live shot of one here. And so this is what a live wristband would look like for us during the season. And so in the alignment perspective of all of the players that we have, whether it's a D lineman or a secondary player or a linebacker, you're very specific with where they are. And not specific to your own terminology. You want to make sure that you're operating in as fast and as efficient way as you possibly can. That's why we make the wristbands the way that we do. And so you see for a boundary inside backer, they're going to line in an outside shade of the guard. Obviously, they'll be in a 30 technique in our terminology, but we want to make it very specific for them. Same thing for the field outside backer and the field safety. We're making their alignment very specific, and then we're telling them exactly what to do in their assignment. We're not going to lean on using our defensive terminology. We're not going to lean on using our offensive terminology. We're going to tell them exactly where to go. As you see here in this cell, it's highlighted. The field outside linebacker on the first play, you're going to be over number 2 at 5 yards, and your assignment is turn and run with number 2. Very easy. If you can count to 2, then you could probably get these wristbands figured out. Once again, we're trying to be foolproof to get more reps in a practice setting. And so you can also be more specific in things like pass rush moves for your guys. If you know that the team that you're playing, their defensive ends are big bull rush players, as you can see here, you can line up. You can line your guy up appropriately, and then there's the instruction in the assignment that tells the guy to bull rush, or you can tell the pass rusher to push pull. And there's a variety of other ways you can be as specific as you want in these wristbands to get your guys aligning in the correct place and also executing a more complex assignment than you've been able to convey on cards, okay? And so now, what does it look like from a game week perspective of what we're trying to do? And so on Sunday and Monday, as a coaching staff, we're building this sheet that you see in front of you. And so we're building this sheet based on the formations that we are utilizing, and you see these formations outlined on the left-hand side in the box that I just highlighted. And so whatever your formation names are, you're trying to create a base template for how the defense is going to align in a base situation, whether it's different fronts, as you see here in front of you. Obviously, this team that we're playing has a tendency to line up in 4 down and a tendency to line up in Okie, which we call 3-4. And then obviously, if there's multiple coverages, giving our guys the base idea from a staff perspective on what it's going to look like if they're lining up in cover 2 or lining up in cover 3, based on the formations once again that are outlined to your left-hand side. From there, the script of the wristbands, as you see, are numbered once we go into the actual script itself. And so we build our scripts in a pretty easy fashion for us to be able to clearly locate what plays are which. And so as you see here, here's an example of the scripts that we would utilize during a game week. You have the tabs on the bottom so we can keep track of everything that we do throughout the week. And on the right-hand side, in these boxes that I'm highlighting, these are the exact formations and the exact plays that we're going to run throughout the course of the practice day. And so for us, we would take play number 1, which tells us the offensive play that's coming, and the formation that we have that we have to line up to. And so when we go to the wristbands, now we're trying to match up those same alignment principles that we already outlined on the master sheet, and then obviously giving our guys an assignment based on the exact run that we know that's coming to them. And so it's easy for us to be able to tell a guy to wrong arm a puller one time, or to be able to push away and play contain on another, once again, to mix up the looks that our guys are seeing in a lot more consistent fashion. And so a couple helpful hints that we've learned throughout building the wristband system. Number 1, the biggest benefit is we can get an outrageous amount of snaps done in a concise amount of time. And so we average getting about 40 snaps off in about a 15-minute period because of our flexibility and the easy recognition of our guys to be able to look down at a wristband and get their alignment and their assignment correct. And so, but this is really a 2-man job to make sure that it's done the right way, and so that you have enough attention to detail to get it done correctly. And so we split it up into 2 different capacities. One guy handles the secondary and one guy handles the front. And then when we're bringing blitzes, that's when those guys are communicating to make sure that they're both on the same page and we're not in a botch coverage with the pressure that we're bringing from the front 7 or obviously from the secondary. The other thing is we utilize the O-line, we utilize the wristbands with the O-line as well. And so O-line coaches are notorious for lining guys up and pointing and moving and blitzing, and you always lose track. You're trying to keep up with what you got your guys doing and what the pressures are that you're going to see for the week. What the wristbands allow you to do is take the same alignments and the same pressures and get those done in a sterile environment. And when you get out to the practice field, you can band up your show team players. That's what we call scout players here at Illinois College, or band up your extra O-linemen. Once again, very easy for those guys to align, very easy for those guys to understand where they're going within their pressures. And then once again, you're being a lot more efficient in a 4, 5, 6 minute period, getting as many plays as you can off, because it's so easy to get guys to go from place to place. Once we get into the season, run versus blitz, and then blitz pickup from a pass protection angle are primary drills that we fill the vast majority of our practice time up with to make sure that we're moving things intentionally to develop our offensive line to get ready to execute, or not just our offensive line, but our superbacks and our running backs and everybody who's going to be involved in the blocking core of the offense. And so very big piece, and we carry 2 sets of wristbands out, one for the show team period, one for the offensive line. They're color-coded. We try to make it foolproof once again. My last piece of advice from a practice setting is separate from the wristbands, but I would say that for you as coaches, share your scripts and share your call sheets with your kids. And I don't say that because I'm trying to insult anybody's intelligence, but the more that your guys have the option to digest what's coming, the more educated questions that they're going to ask throughout the day. And so, for example, when we're getting ready to go out to practice, or in a practice getting ready for the end of the practice at the end of a day, I download our scripts into a PDF and I send that out into through a huddle message to all our guys on the offense. And what that allows those guys to do is digest when their rotations are and make educated questions for you as a coach, things that you can make sure that you're getting better quality reps by the time you get out to the practice field and you're not wasting as much time. And so at Illinois College, we're obsessed with the ability to operate accurately and efficiently to get the most out of our practices. It is a push and pull between coach and player to be able to get the most out of everything that you're doing, with the idea in the forefront of your mind that we only have so many reps to operate with. So I hope that this can be something that you can utilize and implement within your own program. I am more than comfortable to answer any more questions that I wasn't clear on about the wristbands. If you want to shoot me an email, and I'm sure Coach Alba will provide that alongside with this video, I'd be happy to provide you with our templates, and I'd definitely be happy to answer any questions that you have. Shoot me an email, give me a call, shoot me a text. We'll be able to answer any questions that you have. Thanks for supporting Chief Pigskin, and we appreciate your time.